Kieran, and I really hoped I pronounced that right, and our tracker Ceiling Cat. My heart goes out to Ceiling Cat trying to track four people doing an open world race.
Yeah, good luck selling cats. And for us, we have two pairs of eyes, but it's gonna be difficult too. So good luck selling cat. We're counting on you.
Yep. So we have a Setzer start, and I did boot up the seed just for a minute myself, so I do know that this Setzer starts off with shock. So our racers are very, very lucky that they are starting off with a fairly decent character with a very good ability. Looks like Entity and Jevrox are going to the World of Ruin um, Narsh check, getting a Aura Lance or a Force Armor for Entity, and it looks like Fraggle and Jack are going to the Sealed Cave, Imperial Cave, or Imperial Base. Have we seen anything particularly
Player base,
good
yes.
from there yet?
Nothing, nothing good. Maybe the 2000 GPs that could help at the beginning, but no valuable weapon or armor. Um, Today is tier chests, so maybe we're not gonna be see as valuable items than in Shuffle plus Random 20.
That is true. It is tiered chests. I have found the tier chests to be unkind. Then again, maybe the game is just unkind to me.
The game is always unkind. Rondo is gonna be Rondo, and we see Jax Brox and Mr. Entity goes for the Cursed Shield, and they found a very nice surprise with only one fight to uncurse it.
So even though I believe that we have turned off Ultima from here, um, on this seed, I'm going to double check that flag before I say that for sure. Uh, a Paladin Shield is still the best item in the game.
Yeah, you can absorb all elemental magics, so everything is okay for our runners. With the Paladin Shield, they can equip the one of the best characters to keep him safe.
Absolutely. Let's see. Another thing that we should note here is that we are doing a party average level scaling, I believe. This seed is, in a way, a throwback back to the very first days of Worlds Collide before there was character gating or progression scaling. So, sort of bringing me back.
It's sometimes nice to come back and see how it worked before. And we see there's two really similar techniques and similar goals for Jackimus Wedge and Fraggle, but they don't find anything relevant, I guess.
Nothing particularly good in the treasure chest. We'll see what this reward is.
And when this time Jax Rocks find a new character with Zetzer at the Goes mentions. And
Yeah.
see what he finds something good in the shops now.
It does look like the Esper from the Sealed Cave had at least Ice 3, and I think it was Fire 2 as well on it. So that Esper is absolutely worth the trip and worth equipping. Ice 3,
And
Fire 2, the other spells are there, but they don't matter.
HP plus 100, so it's really nice. It's a really nice spell to begin with.
Absolutely. That is one that you certainly will not sneeze at.
Yeah. And we see Jackimus Vetch finding Strago too. Oops. And Jevrox doing some looting in South Figaro.
We've got looting in South Figaro, we've got looting and shopping in Albrook, we've got one at Gal Manor, and we've got Fraggle going to the World of Ruin somewhere. This is one of the challenges with open world seeds is because you can go anywhere, people go everywhere.
Yes, and we have to open our eyes to see everything. And Fraggle is doing the same checks as someone before. I don't remember the name. and find for some Oralens in the weapon shop.
Yep.
And we'll probably find the cursed shield.
Jack is now in World of Balance Kalingen. He's picking up a few curative items, just to make sure that he doesn't get imped and lose out on a whole bunch of stuff here. He's also found super balls in the shop, which it looks like he's selling. Gonna pick up 3 of them. Those are inconsistent, but absolutely a way that you can get through a check if you need to. And there is a Ragnarok in the shop there. Is he gonna try to sell the farm to buy himself a Ragnarok? Looks like he's gonna
Maybe.
give it a shot.
Yeah, and Jaxrox find Bahamut in the Celeste basement, South Figure basement. But I didn't see the magics with it.
Let's see. Mr. Entity is attempting to uncurse that shield, but has found ninjas and wiry dragons that took him out rather quickly. So I think he might try something else.
Yeah, and I see he found renamed cards because he renamed his Setzer Boojack. Oh, very valuable items in chests for now.
Oh, I missed what was there.
No valuable.
No
Sorry.
valuable chest. Never mind. I got
No.
excited for a second. So that is one of the tricks here with tiered chests. There still is the possibility of very good items, but it's not very common. Whereas if you have a shuffled chest pool, you've got things like elemental shields that are just shuffled around. But in tiered, you're not guaranteed those things. So it's I don't know. It's just shuffle chests or tiered chests, not my favorite.
Yeah, I can understand this. I prefer random chests. We find some more valuable items, and you can start a real good game really fast with this. And I saw Jack and Swedge found in Raiden Magicites with poison, and I don't see the other magic with it on Edgar's throne.
And Mr. Entity is checking the collapsing house where he has found a cyan. Hopefully, he'll be able to actually defeat this last dog and uncurse the shield and get through the check. There we go.
And put the Mughal back. Finish on time.
Go. Let's see. So Jevrox is now, or Jexrox. Names are a struggle for me today. I do want to point out that our restreamer's name is Asherin. I got that wrong earlier, so my apologies for that one. The South Figaro throne was, I believe, the Raiden Esper. Not sure. Was that the one that just had poison on it, I believe?
Yeah, with poison and me, and Jack found shadow on the belt instead of gold.
Yeah.
Let's see what his skills are. I didn't see struggle skills too. Morph for shadow? I don't know for struggle.
Drago has steel.
Okay. Mr. Entity is talking to Cyan to get him on his team, and we have some streaming problem, I guess, with Fraggle, who's frozen in Nosh.
I'm sure we'll catch back up there with Fraggle in a moment. So one of the other challenges I find with an open world seed is if you're looking for 7 characters, it can be very hard to find them. Because when you're doing a gated seed, there's only so many places your next character can be. If you have Terra as your only choice with checks, there are 5 places a character can be. With an open world seed, there's like 50 places that character can be.
Yes, and it's tempting to do the fast checks. Most of the fast checks soon, but sometimes the fast checks are not the best one. So we're gonna find what they can find. And I just saw Cyan is with the throw command, so it's gonna be nice for Mr. Entity to start with shock and throw.
Absolutely. We're gonna take that. Throw is really good. You know, you're gonna be opening a lot of chests and you're gonna find a lot of random sort of mid-tier weapons, things like, I don't know, falchions. They're a fine weapon, but they can be very, very powerful when thrown, compared to when you just, swing it around.
Yeah, and he just found shurikens, so he bought 41 of them. He has always something to throw now. Jack is doing the check on the Nash Mountain with the Tridoc check.
I'm curious if he's gonna try to fight that dragon or if he's gonna go do Umaro's cave. Oh no, looks like we're gonna see a dragon here. The dragons give you their normal reward. They give you a good item reward at the end, plus something like 50 magic points and I believe the technical term is a metric butt ton of experience.
Yes, that's the exact word for this. but it just reset because of the white dragon and these 2 or 3 pearls attack in a row.
And so I am curious as to which one of our runners is going to commit to a longer check first. Something like, I don't know, Magitech Factory or Floating Continent or Cyan's Dream. Do you think, what would sort of be your first choice for a longer check to go into?
For longer check, I like the Science Dream, especially where if you found or if you already found the character with Sword Tech. Yeah, I think it's the best way, and you can have 3 dead checks in a row also. It's practically never happened, but we never know with Raveling Seeds.
To be fair, I didn't actually roll the seed. I just agreed that I would take the blame for it.
Okay. Nice one. Mr. Entity found Bahamut too.
Yeah. So this Sir Behemoth, or Senor Behemoth, for Jack is causing a little bit of problem. He used those super balls. One of them rolled 1,000 damage, and then one of them rolled 256, which is the minimum damage a super ball can do. Again, one of those reasons why I get a little leery of using the super balls, because you can roll quad 9s or you can roll 256. Who knows?
It works like fixed dice. You never know. They will roll small dices when you need it the most.
Absolutely. But he does make it through there, learns a whole bunch of magic, gets a bunch of XP, and dispels the shield all in one fell swoop, and is picking up an Esper. He's picked up Torado, not particularly a noteworthy Esper for itself, but depending on what spells it has, it might be interesting. It has Quick. Quick is one of those spells that, particularly if you have an economizer so that it doesn't cost 99 MP, you can do lots of shenanigans with Quick.
Yeah, so at least the gold hairpin to divide the price by 2, and we also see that the quick espers gives us 100% HP for each level up. So Jack has already 2 espers with that. We're gonna see most of these characters with bunch of HP real soon, I guess.
That's okay. I like that. I like having lots of HP.
I prefer to have lots of HP than no HP at all. So it's better for him. And he is having less trouble with the white dragon than before. He gets some levels, gets some spells, so I think it's gonna be okay for him.
All So there was a question in chat about Esper spells are random, but the bonus is fixed. I'm actually going to look that up for you right now so that I can tell you the correct thing. Spells are random, bonuses are random, MP is random. They are equipable by all, but multi-summon is off. So even if you find something like Golem or Fenrir, you will only be able to cast it once per battle.
Yes, and to answer to Selling Cat, what was Tritok? It was Senior Behemoth, and the Esper was Terrado.
Which gave quick at a times 8.
Plus 1% HP. No more to add, I guess.
Let's see. Entity went and just picked up his Strago from Gao Manor, and Jexfrock is in the Narsh Caves. Looks like he is trying to cleanse his Paladin shield as well.
Yes, that's the first thing you do when you see the Cursed Shield 1. You want one easy battle to uncurse it. I hope, yes, he did unequip Strago before the fight to avoid him to do many damages.
Now, so we know that the Curse Shield is a single battle. What would you think of a strategy of someone trying to check all of the weapon or the armor shops to find Curse Shields for sale?
That can be a real brain stretch to do this. I didn't think about it. Thank you, Revlon. But I'm not sure. I know some of these players like to go fast, and when they have what they want, they won't check many shops or many tests.
Absolutely. There is a chance that there is a Curse Shield available for sale because the shops are shuffle plus 20%. So there certainly can be a Curse Shields available somewhere, but we don't know where. With that in mind, I would probably be checking the armor shops in any towns that I go into, but I'm not sure I would go out of my way to find them.
Yes, and you can see lots of cities, lots of towns, sorry, with open world. You can go pretty anywhere to have a check. So when you have a check near, you lost only 3 or 4 seconds to check the armor shop. That's gonna be nice. And we see Jackimus is fighting Ultros to get Edgar. I saw Edgar in the Umaros cave.
Yep, that might be something. I don't know if he went into the World of Balance Narsh, because this is a check that you can peek if you're going up through the World of Balance Narsh caves. You can see whatever is in the Umaro spot getting, sort of peeking out from the caves. Looks like that Edgar has tools, and it looks like Jexfrox was trying to do the Lone Wolf check. I'm not sure he quite triggered it, and then is doing Kefkat Narsh on the way down. That is a check I am very surprised to see someone do with open world.
Yes, especially with only 2 characters, so you have to go alone with Zetzer to see what boss it can be there instead of Kefka Nash. And it's Vargas with the Aipu, so it's not the easiest fight you want to see, but maybe Shock can go through this.
I mean, he's got shock, and I'm pretty sure he has the Paladin shield, so I'm not sure that there's anything here that he's really actually scared of.
Maybe sometimes the Aipu can be mad, and they have claws, and the claw attack can probably wipe his team. And Doomfist, he has to keep up 70 seconds, so it's okay. But normally he will survive to Gale cuts and things like this. So now without the Aipu, it's gonna be easier for him.
Yep, looks like we have Fraggle back, who is currently selling the house to get some warp stones, some sleeping bags. I was wondering if he was going to buy a couple of super balls, but doesn't look like he is. Looks like he's buying basically everything else in the shop, though.
Yes, and 10 times of each. and without Edgar, so he can't even get the promotion, half price
Ooh,
promotion.
uh, Jack, it looks like, just picked up his cyan as well from the collapsing house and is checking the sketchy guy in the woods, which is a very good price of 3,000, but it is only a behemoth suit. So I, I say only a behemoth suit. It's one of the best pieces of armor in the game. No one's going to be sad about a $3,000 behemoth suit.
Yes, but I guess if he thought he can find a magicite, but you can't know when you're on in World of Runes if it's a magicite or an item. You have to talk to the guy in World of Balance to see if it's a glowing stone or not.
Or you can just pay him and hope.
Yeah, yeah, that can be possible, and if it's really something you dislike, you can reset the game maybe. But just save science, so I'm not sure he wanted to do the trick again.
All right. Jex just picked up uh, Phantom, I believe, from the Kefka at Narsh battle. Didn't happen to see if it was any particularly good spells on it, but it is another Esper. You will notice that because we're doing open world, we decided to make our runners find a few more Espers than we do normally, just 13. Just because, you know what? They can go anywhere. Let's make them go places. Let's confuse, the commentators as much as possible by having them going all over the world.
That they see the world. That's the way. And we see Fraggle found a lock at Doma Castle, and we see which boss is there, since Jaxprox are fighting with Umaro.
Looks like the Bahamut Esper, in addition to just being one of the really good Espers to summon for its offensive ability, also found Bolt 3 on it. I was a little nervous that Doomgaze was going to be a problem there, but if you survive the level 5 death, you're probably going to do at least mildly okay.
Yeah, I was holding my breath too because I saw it at the same time as you, I guess. And it's not always nice to see level 5 Doom when you don't know what level you have. And we see Jack and Swedge just get a new Esper from the fight in the sky. And he
Search
gets
the skies
Odin.
and finds Odin. Yeah, you know what? I'll do okay. Uh, I didn't notice. Did he intentionally do that, or did he just happen to run into to the
Didn't
Doomgaze?
see this. I was looking at Fraggle in Doma Castle, and, and I didn't see if it was at random or not. And he's going to Moblitz to see that's the reward. It's Siren.
Siren. It's another Esper. At this point, it's pretty worth doing. Jack is in need of Espers way more than he's in need of characters. Um, although that Odin with the one spell of fire is disappointing.
Yes, more disappointing than the other Espers found earlier. So I guess he wouldn't mind and only take it for maybe the last fight, or maybe not. We'll see. In some lots of minutes.
Yep. Fraggle finds the Cranes fight jumping off of Barren Falls. One good thing about Shock is that it will hit both targets, even in a pincer battle like this. Uh, but I don't think the Cranes are really what you want to find right now until you've cleansed that Curse Shield. Y-
Yes, with
I
the sorry,
No, go ahead.
with the magical power, it's better to have the paladin shield to absorb it.
Yeah, I think if he had the Paladin Shield here, and put it on Setzer, it would be a no brainer battle. It would be absolutely ridiculously over at this point. But it looks like he's almost certainly gonna make it through. Gonna try to revive Strago and then get the kill before the Crane kills Strago, but that didn't happen.
No, it's always the same with Final Fantasy VI randomizer, maybe. When you get a character up, is the next target from the monster, from the boss.
Every time.
Jax just killed Tuner Armor, Vanilla Tuner Armor to find Run. So he got 6 character.
Yep.
They're pretty
Unfortunate.
fast.
Realm is the sword tech user. She does not have the greatest strength in the game, um, and I guess he's not going to take the time to teach her magic, even though she is, the best magic user in the game. Base.
Yeah, the Murder Child is the best magic user, and you like to have her early in the game for her to learn more magic you can. And we see Fraggle won his fight against the Crane, but only with that up, so the shield is still cursed for Straggle.
Yep. And he finds the Esper Stray at the bottom of the falls. Jack is making his run here at Doomgaze. I guess his Edgar must have some dragon boots because he's not on screen right now.
That's flying around. And yeah, he's going down. And maybe he got already the Pearl Lance from the choose in the weapon shop in Nosh.
Yep. Somewhere along the way, Mr. Entity has found the Esper Golem, one of my favorite Espers in the game, particularly for its ability to block calmness.
Yes. Block calmness, block 10 hits, blocks all the physical fights, all the physical hits you can have.
And he is renaming another character. Oh, he's going to boo Jack, blame probably me. It's
probably you, yeah.
Again, with this seed where you started off with shock and a 1 battle curse shield, I will take the blame for this seed any day of the week.
Yes, I totally understand, but I don't know why he can blame you. But maybe now, when he will find the Doomgaze, he's level 8, so it will probably be okay. But he gonna blame you anyway.
Let's see. Jex is taking a shot at the white dragon. Looks like he's having a little bit better run of it than Jack did when he made his run at that white dragon. And Jack is now on the Phantom Train. This is not one of the checks that I would have gone for early, and it's just a Genji glove. He is resetting out of there. He is not interested in doing the Phantom Train for a Genji glove.
Yeah, and we know that normally doesn't like Genji glove anyway. And we see Jax Rocks has killed the white dragon and found a new Ragnarok.
Yeah. Not sure if you found the original the Ragnarok's for sale in the World of Balance Klingen, but either way, no one's going to turn down a free Ragnarok. Fraggle has found a Lobo on the Veld. I'm not actually sure if you end a battle using the dried meat on Shadow here, if that's going to count to cleanse the shield. He might have to fight another battle here.
Yeah.
I'm
Oh yes,
sure.
to increase the shield. Yes, of course, because it doesn't have any MP, so it doesn't count as a fight, as a winning fight.
Oh, Fraggle, I'm so sorry, my dude.
And Morph Shadow, yeah.
Jack is now up on Mount Colts. I do have to say, these palettes on all of the sprites are very fascinating. Finds a Dullahan. Should be okay, as long as that level ? Pearl doesn't wipe his party, and it didn't. And Entity is there struggling a bit with Doomgaze. Doomgaze has given him a little bit of the what fors.
Yes, I was looking at this because he has only Zetsu left, so Boo Jack for the names, and he's gonna revive. I guess it's you. You're lucky then.
I got up in time just to get Cyclonic, and not very lucky.
And Jax Frost fighting Senor Ostronium Behemoth, as Mr. Entity said. And I guess he won't have any problem. He gets well since Kefka Nosh. I guess he has plenty of fights and on his way through.
Fraggle has finally found an easy battle to actually cleanse that shield. He has had some bad luck here. Died to the cranes with it. Did a Lobo battle, which would have been okay, sort of, if Shadow didn't show up. So finally found a battle he could do outside of the beginner's house in Narsh.
And Jack found Ifrit with, I guess it was Ice Free and Cure Free. So
Good gracious.
really nice magics.
So, thank you, Janice Zeal, for the raid. We appreciate it. Welcome to our community race. Sit down a while and listen.
And most important of it, have fun. And we see Jack, who's gonna find the crane battle, and Mr. Entity finally get rid of Doomgaze. So he's gonna have his friend's luck.
Yep. Mr. Entity is probably pretty happy about that one. So one thing that I do know is Jack has a tendency to just throw himself face first at checks and just hope that he has what he needs to get through. And that strategy seems to be working out pretty well for him. He's doing checks that, I wouldn't have necessarily, looked at originally. The Phantom Train and those, but he is making his way through, and he is getting the tools that he needs as he goes. So his strategy of throw my face at it until it works seems to be working out okay for him.
Yes, and he did some pretty fast checks. Even the Phantom Train, he saved just before he can see the price was worthless, so he can reset away. And I guess he's doing fine with one fight where you are healed. He doesn't have to do detours to find the healing. And he's gaining some time still.
Yep. I will say that this strategy of Jack's does occasionally come back to bite him. He does have a tendency of wiping to Kefka slightly more than some of our other top runners, because, he'll go, yeah, I can do it. Maybe I can't.
Yes, I understand. I remember one race in the KGP finals when he had only 3 characters and he was looking for one more Espers, and we asked him, will you go with only 3 characters, especially when one of these characters was Umaro. So you can't go to KT with Umaro in a way. Can't. It's unbelievable. He probably will.
Absolutely. And now he has found the Piranhas fight. Ugh. That is one of the more obnoxious fights, in my opinion, just because it lasts forever. And it's not like the Piranhas can do anything to you.
Yes, especially at this level. It's never nice to find them in KT, especially for time losing. But if they eat you, they can wipe someone sometimes. They eat hard.
particularly if you have the flag normalize and distort stats on. Their stats can get quite high and they can do quite a bit of damage, but I do not believe that flag is on tonight, so they are not all that dangerous.
Yes, with the stats you talked about, it can hit as hard as a Womp. So for those who found the Womp fight, not the Womp fight, but the Womp capacity, you know what we mean.
Yeah. I believe Wump is essentially Flare in terms of power.
Yes, I guess. And Jaxbox are going to find a Cyan on the collapsing house. And Mr. Entity is doing the same check as Jack just before. So he's gonna find the Neutros on the Espers Mountain.
And it looks like Jack is going to go and commit to one of our longer checks, the Magitech Factory. I'll be interested to see if he TPs out before the final part of the check, because that tends to be, 2 bosses and 3 battles for a single check. That's oftentimes considered not worth it, but at this point he might just, stick through it.
Yes, maybe, because he needs only one character and he needs Espers, and you know that normally the last checks is not the dead checks. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I guess the last checks is always a Magicite or a character.
I am not 100% sure if it is always a Magicite or a character, but but it has the possibility of being a Magicite or a character for sure. I would have to double check to see if there can be, items there or not.
I know that Opera House works like this. You can't have any dead checks. You always have a Magicite or a character, but I'm not sure about Magitech Factory. But I guess with all the runs we run, I never saw an item there. Maybe it's luck.
I would love to have your luck.
I don't have Xalphus luck. I have my luck. It's a small one.
Absolutely. And while we have our players going all over I was going to say all over the world. It's all over both worlds. We have our runners in 4 different locations all at the same time, just because that's how open world works. Once again, want to give out a shout out to our tracker, Ceiling Cat, who is keeping up amazingly well despite having to look at 4 different places at once. And to our restreamer, and I am going to look. They sent me the pronunciation, Asherin. There we go, Asherin. So once again, thank you to them. Also, do want to give a shout out to Atmatech, our developer. Thank you, Atma. You're fantastic. You keep us happy and keep us going with all of the great stuff that you give us. So thank you for all the toys.
Yes, and thank you to Javinator in the chat, who says he was looking at the wiki. It says MTech free is character or Espers. So sometimes I was right. And don't forget to follow our runners. So Mr. Entity, Jackham's Wedge, Fraggle, 497, and Jax Rocks. They are doing well tonight. They are entertaining you tonight. And I guess it's this. Yes. And Asherin and Ceiling Cat for tracking and restreaming. And thanks to Ravlin, who comments with me.
Excuse me, glad to do it. I would expect this seed to last maybe an hour and a half to 2 hours on average. With open world, it tends to be a little bit more variable depending on what checks people do. Because they have so much open to them, they're more likely to find dead checks.
Yes, but they're more likely to find another dead checks for Jackham's Wedge with a Force Armor. but they can have lots of free or fast checks too, and multi checks like Magic Tech Factory and, as you said, the floating continent.
Yeah. So open world seeds tend to be more variable in terms of how long they take compared to uh, gated seeds. And I mean, comparing players to players. Because with a gated seed, there's only so many choices you can make. So your routes tend to be a little bit more constrained than in an open world seed.
Yes, and we can see that all our runners are having between 8 or 13 not dead checks, so they are doing pretty well. And Jack just found the Ragnarok Espers with poison thing.
Yep.
Wonderful, and they wap out.
Yep, he is deciding that, that minecart ride is not something he is interested in doing. So, again, interesting to see where he heads to next. I guess it's going to be Zozo. Gonna do the long climb up the building and find out what's in Ramu's chair there.
Yes, and let's see if I can stay in the lane or get some place of one of two thieves. Pretty sure he won't wait.
And Mr. Entity has jumped into the Serpent Trench. Depending on the settings, fixed battle locations like the Serpent Trench or the Burning House can either be a really great place to go where you sort of know what kind of battles you're going to get into and you're going to be pretty confident that you're going to be able to get through and get good XP and some gold. Or if there are random bosses mixed in to those fixed encounters, going to a fixed encounter location could be the worst idea ever if you have to fight 4 Magimasters in a row.
Yes, of course.
Completely random example that has never happened to me. No, why would you ask such a question?
No, I never ask some question like this. And worse can be even this Magimaster instead of the rats in the opera, because you have only 5 minutes to kill them all, and normally you reset really fast.
The Opera House is one of the places in the randomizer where, depending on your flags, the timer could actually be your biggest challenge.
Yes, especially with big bosses or with no escapable fights. And Jack just find another dead check. So with Marvel shoes.
Marvel shoes, they're never something I'm sad to have. I'm generally not happy to see them as a check reward. I will use them and I will get benefit out of them and be very happy for that. But I don't want to see it as my reward.
Yes, yes, I understand. And the Tom Tub just transform all Jacksport's team in imps. Is gonna find a new fight to find the character, and is Senior Behemoth.
He's not. I'm not sure the character can appear after Senior Behemoth, because there are certain fights that the Gao character cannot appear after. I think it's anything that's coded as a boss battle. But as I say that out loud, I am less and less confident about it. So
I guess you're right, but I'm looking for this especially to see if we are wrong. And Mr. Entity just found the most valuable Yeti in the Nikea.
I have a feeling he's not going to use the Yeti, and I'm a little sad about it.
Yes, I understand. Maybe the Yeti will be the airship driver, pilot.
I find that to be the most common job for Yetis in Worlds Collide. Not something that I would think is in their skill set, but here we are.
And we were wrong about Senior Behemoth because Jackbox just found the shadow.
You know, I do know that the Gao check cannot appear in like back attacks or uh, pincer
Pincer attack.
attacks, I believe.
Yeah, but I didn't know against a big Senior Behemoth like this, you're gonna find them. Good to know.
And it's Naku in the chat just made what I think is now possibly my favorite pun about Umaro, because you equip the Rage Ring on him and he becomes the Yeety.
Yay! But we are not sure that Mr. Entity is doing this. And Jack doing another long check with Science Dream.
Yeah, at this point,
So
I think Jack is just looking for what I would call a density of checks. He's looking for as many things wrapped up into one as he can. You know,
yes,
he's
and
got
it's a
his
good strategy.
he's got his final Kefka Barty. Like, he's not going to change any of these characters out at this point. He's got the equipment that he needs. He is just trying to find the entry requirements as quickly as possible.
Yes, he wants the numbers, and they have a new Magicite with Phoenix. Phoenix that gives life to reflect Merton. Merton too, but I'm not sure he has the equipment to do a Merton strat for now.
I mean, he has at least one curse or one paladin shield, so who knows? Mr. Entity finds Minerva's for sale though in Narsh. I would certainly sell a whole bunch of stuff to buy a Minerva or two.
Yeah, and it's gonna be. We talked about. Sorry for my English. We talked about. Jack Merton strats. He probably will be happy to find Minerva's.
Minerva, arguably one of the best pieces, if not the best piece of body armor in the game. It nulls 3 elements, it gives you magic power and a whole bunch of other stats. It's just very, very efficient for what it is. And with the element nullification, that is incredibly powerful.
Yes, and really useful for some of the last fights in Kefka Tower. So maybe he will be happy to find something in Narsh. Not sure he's gonna do to go to the armor shop in Narsh. Anyways.
Let's see, Jex is doing Daryl's Tomb, and I believe that is a Zone Seek Esper there that it just set.
I didn't see the name on the grave.
But it is behind a Guardian. It is a well-guarded grave.
Yeah, it's no, probably someone really important there.
Well, we've got, in just a moment, we're going to have all 4 racers fighting bosses at the same time. Entity fighting a Sasquatch, Frago fighting Doomgaze, Jack fighting a Squid. Is that really a boss? And Jex fighting Guardian. 4 different bosses in 4 different locations.
And 4 different techniques to find them, and 4 different difficulties, I guess. So
Jack was the last one to enter the battle and the first one to exit.
Yes, the octopus is not so difficult to fight, and when it's not with Mr. Chupon, it's easy XP to win, and he gets Starlet Espers, so 2 more. And Seraphim Espers, so maybe 1 more to go and 1 more character.
That Seraphim is a very sad Esper. No spells.
Sorry. I laugh. No, I didn't laugh. Nobody hear me.
I mean, at least it gives strength +1, so it's not useless. It's just not what you want.
Yeah, and as we told you earlier, our forerunners are really good and they all get rid of the bosses they fight at the same time. So, thumbs up for them. And we see Mr. Entity doing the Lone Wolf check and hesitating between a Chocobo brush and saving an Esper or an item for doing Kefka Nash, probably.
I even I even missed it. He clicked through it so fast I missed what he actually got.
Shiva. It
Okay.
was Shiva, and Jack's doing fight against Pumbaba in Moblitz, and which it was an Esper, if I remember well, but I don't remember which one. Did the
Uh
check earlier.
Something, I think it was Siren or Stray, and I think he went and talked to the little girl and then left, if I
Yeah,
remember correctly.
I
Uh,
remember he left, but I don't remember the name of the Esper. But Siren seems right. Yeah.
Fraggle is going for the floating continent. This is 2 chances at a character and 3 chances at espers. So, he could come out of there with, 3 more things that he needs towards his entry to Kefka's Tower. We'll see how well it pans out for him.
Yes, and we see Jax doing with the Shardanook with only 2 characters because of Baba Breath. It's not the fight you like to see when you are only 2 people.
He's using Whirlwind. Does that work against?
I'm
No.
not sure it works against him, but it works against his body.
Certainly worth a try. And it's
Yeah,
one of those that it might work. West Wind or Whirlwind or W Wind is one of those spells that I don't think I have ever once intentionally cast.
I
So,
don't think I cast it too, no.
I know very, very little about it.
And I can't help you more because I don't know more than you about this. But I'm pretty sure it's like Carbuncle. I won't use this kind of spells. And Jaxbox found Celis on top of Monzozo.
Very nice. Celis is always a welcome addition to my party. She has some of the best stats in the game. She can equip all of the best equipment in the game. Actually, frankly, any of the girls in this game are welcome additions to my party. Every single time.
I understand, and she has lore skills, so I don't know which lore she already learned, but Jaxbox won't find it. The Magi Master for Fraggle. Oh, ready get Berserk.
Oh, I mean, he has Berserk, so that's going to actually be a doable battle. I was actually getting really concerned. I'm like, what are we going to do about this Magi Master? We're just going to Berserk him and completely neuter him from being threatening at all.
Yeah, it's really easier when you get Berserk or weapons that ignores defense, like the fixed dice, or some skills like Sword Tech that ignores defense. And if you have Ultimas but no Ultimas in this run, it's easier.
I do tend to prefer seeds that don't have Ultima as a possibility because otherwise it just becomes blue bubble after blue bubble because it's so good.
It's so good and it's so easy to use. So I guess you're right. When we found Ultimas, we tend to use it. You tend to first get everyone to learn it and then use it again and again.
Yeah. Now, I will say Ultima is not always the best choice because it is a slow spell. So, if you have, tier 3 elemental spells and can hit a weakness, that's going to be a faster way to get through than Ultima will be.
Yeah, and I guess Fraggle is going to uh, f- not regret, but it's gonna be maybe a long fight because Fumbaba for has so many HP. So just after Magi Master fight, that's not the fight you really enjoy to see.
No, but he is actually taking advantage of the fact Funbaba is one of the few enemies in the game that is weak to poison. And he has both bio and poison and is doing some pretty decent damage.
Yeah. Yes, and he's using also fire, so he will get rid of it. But as I said earlier, he got tons of HP, so it's gonna take a little bit of time.
Let's see. Jack is almost ready for his dive into Kefka Tower. It looks like he needs a single character, and that's it. There are a few places we know there are characters. We know there's a Yeti at the end of the Serpent Trench. Um, I would be very surprised to see him go to the Serpent Trench next.
Yes, and I guess he's so locked on Doma Castle, but it didn't get him. So maybe, but I'm not
Mm,
sure he saw it. But I guess he saw it. So maybe if you remember well, you can go to Doma Castle and give a new try to Gaze.
certainly. Fraggle finds the best Moogle of all times on top of the floating continent.
Yes, best mug ever. Yeah, maybe we'll rename it him Rav when he has it on his team.
Mog is my favorite character, as evidenced by my avatar being a Moogle. Um, Jex is fighting Atma. Atma is one of the more scary bosses in this game. Casts a lot of very, very powerful magic and absorbs things like Pearl, which is often often one of your more powerful choices if you have it.
Yes, and sometimes you have an Illuminas and you forgot about it, and that's the time the Illuminas go with the proc. Always.
I mean, proc to heal the enemy for quad nines. Again, that's never happened to me before.
No,
Why?
never
Why?
to me either.
Why would you ask
And
such a question?
I didn't ask anything. Uh, th-
Yep.
just
Oh,
reading the chat. Oh,
yeah. I was just about to say one of the things that I have learned playing this game, how many more hidden chests and chests that I didn't even know existed before playing this randomizer there are. There are chests all over this game. They are everywhere.
yes, and I found some new too with the randomizer. I'm this community since 2 or 3 months. I found lots of chests when I see the Moogle first seats. So thanks, Rav. And now we tend to know where they are, where every chest are, and you can find them also in our wiki page. And I guess I was right with Jack because he go directly to Doma Castle to find Locke and Gaze.
And Doomgaze is still giving Jack a little bit of trouble here, but I think with his Edgar, he'll probably be able to make it through without too much of a trouble here.
Yes, and Doomgaze just killed 2 of his character at the beginning with level 5 Doom, because I guess Setzer and Shadow are level 30, 35 or 40, I don't know. But if he gets rid of Doomgaze, he's gonna do a go time before 1 hour.
So, to answer another chat question, so for the auction house, you have two options. You can do it in the World of Balance or the World of Ruin. In the World of Balance, whatever the items that come up, you can buy them multiple times. So that can be a strategy if you're looking for particular items and you get lucky, you could buy multiple copies of Ragnaroks or Illuminous. On the other hand, if you go to the World of Ruin, once you buy the item, it is out of the pool, so it won't come up again. So typically, what I see racers do is once they have about 90,000 gold, they are able to buy everything in the World of Ruin and then just buy everything and go through. One of the flags in this game is randomize the RNG tables so that we cannot you can't manipulate it the same way you can in vanilla.
Yes, and as you said, you buy anything, so you can buy a bandana for 50k. Buy it to get rid of it. And it's
Speaking of an
Illumina.
Illumina, Jack just found it, and this is going to be a very cheap Illumina.
It's a 10,000, so it's gonna be for 20. Oh no, 50. It's a 50,000 Illuminas.
Still very cheap.
Yes.
And Jack is now in Kefka's Tower. He is safely ahead of the rest of the runners. His strategy of just throwing his face at everything seemed to work out for him pretty well this season.
Yes, but we'll see against Kefka, because as you said earlier, he tends to go really fast, so not having much level, I guess its best party level is 35, so it's gonna be a little bit difficult or a little bit harder to get rid of Kefka.
Yes, so he is a very high risk, high reward player, and he has some of the deepest game knowledge of most of our runners here. He just knows off the top of his head, what bosses are weak to, what strategies he can employ, and to get through a check. So he very heavily leans on his own game knowledge.
Yes, and I guess he hear us because he's facing the dragon, and I guess he will just go to the save point with the third team before fighting the dragons with the second team.
Yeah,
Get
if
some
you're
levels.
if you need those levels and maybe a little bit of an injection of XP and magic points, and maybe even a high tier item, I understand.
Yes, and MP is always nice, especially when you find a valuable espers at the end of the game, so you can learn pretty soon his magic power.
And yeah, so the auction house is not a favored check among most runners. Typically, a racer will do it if they need 1 or 2 espers and they haven't looked at the auction house yet. Uh, it will tell you if there are glowing stones available, so you'll know. But it's not something a lot of runners will do first. They'll do it as the last check when their other options are, Burning House and Fanatic's Tower.
Yes, but I prefer to do Abbot's Rock checks than the auction house. I guess I get more luck in Abbot's Rock, even with the RNG playing with us, than in auction house where the RNG is playing more with me.
Absolutely. So yeah,
Someone named Xalfer doesn't think like this.
Yeah, the auction house is a very quick if you get the Esper immediately. It's very fast. It's one of the fastest checks. But if you don't and have to do the auction multiple times, then it's one of the slowest checks. And
Yes.
we all love, as racers, we love high variance.
That's it, yeah. And we see Jack is fighting Aiden and the Aidenites.
my favorite 50s style boy band.
Yeah, yes, it's. I guess it's the favorite from Mr. Entity too. Maybe you can share some CDs or
You
MP3.
know, maybe if I ever start a barbershop quartet, I'll name them Haydn and the Haydn Knights, just for those deep cuts to see if anyone else gets it.
Yeah, probably lots of people get it because Final Fantasy CC it's well known, and I don't know I don't Knights get many player problems, so I guess they remember.
Jack finds his way through there, although Cyan is zombied, so he will not get any benefit from this battle. I was watching a runner the other night going through, and they got zombied and didn't have a revivify, and it was tragic.
Yes, it's odd when you didn't have any revivifies. You better have to get a warp stone if you can get out of the fight. Uh, get a warp stone and find something to cure. If you're in the fight, you just have to pray that the last character won't die or won't be zombified.
Good, good luck.
Yeah, and pray that your zombie is fighting the boss and not you.
Let's see, Mr. Entity finds a goddess at the end of the river. That's, I'm sure,
Ooh.
exactly what he wanted to find after, frankly, what were a bunch of really, really challenging and obnoxious fights here on the river.
Yes, maybe he gets lots of XP from these fights, but not good.
Jack is fighting the other dragon here in Kefka's Tower. This dragon is not long for the world. The Skull Dragon is not scary, even at its normal level. Not frightening at all.
No. Only if he models the best player in your team, that can be dangerous, but he doesn't have very powerful spells, and his condemned is too long for him to live.
I mean, so Muddle is can definitely produce some of the most entertaining, at least for the viewer, situations. I have more than once seen someone queue up a cleave with their sword tech user to immediately get them muddled and then cleave their own party dead.
Oh yes. Oh, I have a fight with. I saw a fight with Genji Glove offering and fixed dice. That turns out to be a real murder to his own character. So model is not always it's not so nice, and if you can't physically attack your own character modeled, you can have bad times.
Absolutely. With the pace that Jack is going right now, it is theoretically possible for him to get a sub 130. Sub 130s are very, very rare. You need to get the right seed and, have the right pathing through that seed. It's going to be close one way or the other, but, he certainly has a chance at it. He has to get lucky, and these next few bosses have to be very quick.
Yes, and we saw much of the big bosses except for the spicy chicken. I hope I don't speak for the devil of the devil. No, it's okay. So the spicy chicken, we didn't see it, but we saw Goddess at the end of Letter River. We saw Doom in the Magitech Factory, and we saw Magimaster in the air. And I guess the boss are shuffled, so you won't see them anymore instead of the statues.
Yeah, so he definitely has a pretty good chance at having fairly quick bosses. Tritalk's not a bad one. He's got some fire magic. He's got some defense ignoring things. So definitely has has the possibility. Um, I would say for standard racing flags, an hour and a half to 2 hours, somewhere in that time is very, very good. And what I would suggest runners who are wondering what they should aim for to get into racing should aim for, sub 2 hours. Uh, sub 130s have happened. They are not common, but really they are very impressive when people are able to pull them off.
Yes, especially where with so it's open world, okay, but he has 13 esper to find. So normally in standard races we have 7 character 10 espers, and under 130 is already a good time, but there he had to find 3 more espers, and we saw him having some of dead checks, so it's a really good time to fight Kefka.
Absolutely. But yeah, even in open world, again, open world is so variable depending on what checks you do in what order. It could either be very, very fast or very, very slow, just depending on your routing choices.
Yeah, and we see Jack was varying between really fast checks with only 1 fight, and some of the longest checks with Magitech Factory and Science Dream.
Yep. So now he's fighting Ifrit and Shiva, which is actually, I believe, the only boss battle you can run from in vanilla.
Yes.
If you watch
them.
Yep, if you watch the speed runs of vanilla, you can see the racer will literally charge up run, get Ifrit and Shiva to switch spots. While there's no boss on screen, there's no can't run flag, so they'll just run away and the game goes, oh, the battle's over, you must have won. That is something you can do in this particular randomizer, but oftentimes when you face them, it's going to be faster just to cast a couple of ice spells on Ifrit and you'll burn through his HP.
Yes, and you gain XP too, so it's better to do like this. And we just saw Mr. Entity going back to Collingen World of Balance to buy some more Ragnaroks.
Absolutely. When we rolled the seed, I popped it up just for a few moments to, I think I spent 5 minutes looking around real quick just to see what the start was. And I found those Ragnaroks and Super Balls and the gem box in Kolaghan, and predicted that we would be seeing our racers there. Jack has to take a reset here. He does find the spicy chicken up in Kefka's tower.
Yes, I called it. I'm sorry, Jack. And he already stopped 1 character, but he has ice free, and I guess he just gonna do some menuing to get rid of the stops, maybe.
I think he's looking to see if he has the stop spell.
Yes, I guess it's that, yeah. Didn't find it.
And Imperatus, thank you for the raid. Welcome. You are catching what might be the end of the race for Jack if he can get through this spicy chicken. We'll see.
Yes, and Asherin, that's not true. We never curse Jack. We never curse runners, and especially Bojack.
I mean, I like watching our runners struggle because it's entertaining to watch, but I'm not. I'm kind of a jerk.
Yeah, and Ceiling Cat says she's not sure about Fraggle Esper's count because we had some problem with his restream, so and he's going really fast in his maneuvering in Espers. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I counted 10. And Jaxbox finding the Flame Eater in the last part of Magitech Factory, but I guess it doesn't have many ice magics.
Yeah, that would be a bit of a challenge. And Jack is finding this poltergeist is really giving him some troubles here.
Yes, and I guess that series stopped there. So he's gonna
I'm
wait and maybe get the... No, get nothing to avoid the instant death.
If I were Jack, I would see if I have a wall ring because, Poltergeist does cast stop and you can reflect that stop onto Poltergeist and, the spicy chicken will prevent itself from doing anything.
Yes, that's gonna be the best way to get rid of him there.
It's unreliable, but it might be the best choice he's got.
And I guess Jaxbox found Go-Go maybe? I was not sure because...
Yeah.
wasn't
Definitely
this
looks like a
guess.
go-go to me. And he finds number 124. Oddly, number 124, number 24. Um, I think number 24 is a little bit more terrifying to me when I find him flying at me through the sky than when I find him, standing in the middle of the factory.
I understand what you're saying, yes, but is less terrifying that floating in the sky is Magimaster, the big brother.
Oh, absolutely. I would be more terrified of Big Brother, but finding number 24, flying through the air at you, it's just a different experience than walking up to him and talking to him.
Yes. And Fraggle is fighting the Storm Dragon. I guess with the sea, it's the sea. With the mountain behind, it's on Mount Zozo. Vanilla Storm Dragon.
Yep. Is this even randomized?
No. Oh, Poltergeist is at his own place, I guess.
Poltergeist is in a French vanilla location. He's in the goddess's spot, so he's close to being vanilla, but not quite.
Sorry. And he will find who was there? A character for sure. I don't remember who. Celes. It's gonna be Celes and Monzozo.
See, Jack is showing sort of the downside of his strategy of, going in as quickly as possible and, just sort of throwing his face at things. This is what can happen. You can find yourself slightly unprepared and having to struggle through a particular boss. We'll have to see if our other runners who might have gotten through a few more checks, who might have a few higher levels, they might also find themselves struggling here. It really depends on what party ends up facing Poltergeist.
Yes, and it's always like that. You never know which party gonna find the worst boss ever, and you never know if you have the right magic to get rid of it. And just to answer to the chat, not all dragons were vanilla location because in Ice Dragon spot we found a white dragon. There's lots of pearls.
Right. That did cause a few problems. And Jack does make it through that Poltergeist. Not sure if he just got lucky that he didn't cast stop and, was able to absorb everything with that Paladin shield, but makes it through, really showing flexibility and skill as a runner here, getting through a very tough boss with basically only one character.
Yes, and it's going pretty well, and still a good time to to find Kefka. So he was struggling, but I guess it's part of his strategy. Go for it.
And now is a good time to remind everyone, please go ahead and give these runners a follow. Most of them, if not all of them, stream this and other games, not just during the community race. They are giving you some very nice free entertainment tonight, so go ahead and give them a follow and see what else they put out there. For an example, I know Mr. Entity does some charity streaming, playing games to raise money for charity and gives out some prizes occasionally. Not sure when he's going to do that next. Sometimes he'll also do Jackbox party games, which are quite a bit of fun to jump in on and join.
Yes, and Fraggle did also. I guess he get also charity races with all the flags of the KGP, the first KGP this winter, in April, I guess. Also
Oh,
for
yes.
charity.
Yes, didn't he do them like all in a row?
Yeah,
Something like
24
that.
hours. I hope less, but 24-hour stream.
And I think, isn't he also doing a no sphere grid run of Final Fantasy X, I believe?
I saw him yesterday or 2 days earlier. Yes, said it's more difficult than he thought.
Yep. So once again, be sure to give these runners a follow. Check out their content. They are giving us some very entertaining free entertainment tonight, and we definitely appreciate that. So give them a thank you. I would also like to. Oops, wrong chat box there. Haha, that's better.
Oh yeah.
Once again, also follow the Restream team. I want to thank again Kay Toyzik for helping me with the chats here, because at some point I would just start talking about the weather or something silly if I didn't have another human being to speak with. And a big thank you to Ceiling Cat and Asherin for tracking and restreaming.
And of course, thanks to you, Reveling Bay, to help me to find my words sometimes and give me some good advice on these games.
Yeah, here to help. So, just one quick plug for anyone who might be new here. If you are not, my screen just did something very weird, and I don't know what that was. If you are not familiar with this game, go ahead and give us a look. I've just linked to our Discord and our website. We are very new player friendly. We love it when new people join us and come in for just to play, just to join us. We have lots of new player resources with a beginner's guide and Google's first seed videos. So go ahead and join us. Give us a try. Kay Toyzik, you were saying you've been in the community 2 months or so, and you're already here on the Restream team, giving us a handout up here. I know Asherin is relatively new as well, so always looking for new folks. Join us.
Yes, and it's really a nice community. For me, who's speaking not the best English ever, they are really nice. They are passionate with us. You can ask anything. They are always someone to answer you, and they are always franklin to give you statistics on everything.
Yep, I will say that our community is a whole bunch of nerds.
Yeah.
Just a whole bunch of nerds all over the place. So,
It's always nice to find new people.
We will answer your question. Oftentimes, we will answer your question with more information than you wanted.
Yes, as Javinito says, the trick is to get people to stop answering you and to stop doing things like the Final Fantasy theme park or theme restaurant we were talking about. was 1 week ago. So if you have new ideas for meals or Final Fantasy VI related, you are welcome too.
Oh, I missed that conversation, and now I'm thinking about it. Why did you do this
Oh,
to me? You have effectively nerd sniped me.
that was a really nice conversation, and we had spicy chickens, of course, and something like this, and we were talking about what Merton can be. So it may be a spicy salsa that
I
pops
was
in your mouth.
I was thinking Merton would be any drink with Fireball whiskey, but that's just me. Bringing it back to something a little bit more
That can be.
PG-13 from alcohol. We're gonna reel that back now.
There's fight everywhere right now. So Jack is going to tier 2.
Uh,
He's fighting the tiger.
so tier 2, so for the final Kefka fight, I always spend most of my time and energy preparing for tier 3. I want to make sure that I have some non-elemental damage to take down Girl. I want to make sure that I have something to deal with Calmness. But tier 2, if you are not prepared, can absolutely wreck your day.
Yes, especially when the tiger can zombify you. And I guess Realm is in bad shape right now.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
believe he brought Realm along because she had sword tech and she cleaved the long arm on tier 1, and I believe she cleaved tools here on tier 2.
Yes, maybe that was. Oh no, he get her up. I guess he wanted to get rid of her for the third part, but not. But right now.
And that Edgar got zombified, but he has some revivify, so it looks like he's going to be okay. It does look like that the sub 130 dream is a little bit out the window, but it was close there for a while.
Yes, and we see Fraggle, who were doing the burning house and fighting some tentacles.
I always found that, oh my god, he is using Imstrats on Cyan. Did you see that almost 5,000 basic hit that Cyan just did? Whew.
Yes, I guess he has all the equip for the imp
Whew.
Cyan. And still Realm at 84 skill points. I'm not sure she has more than this.
That is, something that I find so interesting, that he actually is choosing to use Realm, um, even though she is, the weakest of all of his characters. I don't think he did any grinding of her. He just wanted that sword tech because Cleave is frankly that good.
Yes, and because he can do this, so it's even better than he will have a new party member for tier 3, and the new party member won't be hit by maybe the quarter than Magic can do at the end of the fight.
That is true. We'll see what happens. I'm wondering if he planned it this way. He wanted to get Realm through tier 1 and tier 2, and then replace her with probably Strago for tier 3 in Final Kefka, if I had to guess.
Yes, I guess it was Trago, yeah, but definitely it can be a question we can ask him. Is Realm Cleave? Oops, I just noticed this. To forget. And I didn't see what Fraggle gets in the burning house, if someone saw this.
I missed it. Let me see. Did our tracker catch it? It helps if I look at the right part. Nope, not yet.
And I saw that Javinator found another off-stream people who also is on tier 2. I guess I can know who is this, but you get the
It is,
surprise.
uh, if anyone's curious, it is Boo, uh, who is finishing up tier 2 right now, it looks like. So I think Jack has a little bit of a lead on him, uh, but not that much. So it truly is a race for first place.
Yes, and Jack has one character down with Edgar and is trying to get rid of girl as soon as possible. For Excelfer also. So it's really close race between three of our best runners in this game. It's gonna be a nice end.
Yeah, absolutely. Which, so we haven't seen the other two, the two who are off stream, but I can basically guarantee that they did not take the same path as Jack. And that's one of the things that I really like about this particular randomizer. I've played a lot of randomizers. I love Free Enterprise. I've tried Career Day. I've tried Jets of Time. Um, what I particularly like about this randomizer is that the pathing is more open. Um, you can have two different runners take completely different routes, and that's in gated as well as an open world, and still end up in Kefka's Tower at roughly the same time. Uh, with different characters and different espers and different gear, and there are multiple viable routes through almost every seed.
Yes, and it happened more often than we think, yes. And we saw Fraggles going to the Kefka Tower too, and Checksbox doing one of the checks I hate the most, especially because of the green guys that throw you away, is going to be in Zone Eater Belly.
Yep. And as Javinator is saying, the number of races that are decided by less than a minute, um, and not only for first place, but between first and second, but there's also very close races between fourth and fifth. So we have lots of racers who are very, very close to each other in terms of skill levels.
Yes,
I spent some time looking at the Kefka Grand Prix data from the last Kefka Grand Prix we ran. And there were lots and lots of very, very tight times all the way through.
yes, and there's still times like this in the new Kefka Grand Prix we are running. No spoilers, so we don't tell you between which times there is so many players that we can't count them. And I guess it's really good for this community because there is so many ways to get the best time.
Absolutely. All
And
sorts
it's
of.
cooler when you feel second faster, yeah.
Definitely is. And is Jev going to find what he wants here? It is another Esper, so he needs only two more. And he's already done the auction house, I believe.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did.
Ooh, Jack is going for the Phantom strats here on tier 4 or tier 3. This is a very, very risky strat because once you're in the vanish status, that Meteo that he casts will hit you 100% of the time. And each one of these attacks, if it doesn't kill him, does have the chance to counter with Meteo, but he does get through. See, I tried it the other night and got immediately Meteoed to the face and lost like 2 minutes trying to get my team back up.
Oh
Curse you,
yes, I
Jack.
get it too. I get it too. Sometimes you did Phantom a little bit too soon, and that gave you more problem than solutions. And we see Mr. Entity going to Kefka Towers too. So it's gonna be a nice run between Mr. Entity and Fraggle. Let's see. Yes, Jax Rocks looking for 2 more espers in this world.
Yep. And Jack is on Final Kefka himself. This is Final Kefka is one of those fights where if you count to, what is it, 62 effectively, you make sure to stay away from his counterattacks. It can go very, very easily. But it's also a fight that can spiral wildly out of control if you're not careful.
Yes, yes. If you didn't count, or if there is a proc when you didn't want it, and you get an hyperdrive as a counterattack, or worse, an ultimas, or maybe sometimes 2 ultimas in a row, you can get rid of your team real soon.
Yeah.
Have a quick is rude too.
Yep. At the same time, there are certain strategies for Final Kefka fight where it is possible to defeat him in a single round. If you have Genji Glove offering double Valiant Knives and wait for him to fall in one you can do enough damage in those 8 hits to take him down in 1 round.
Yes, and it's always a pleasure to do this. But it not often happen often.
That is correct. Every time I've tried it, it has not worked out for me.
And I just answered to it's Naku. It's not Atma weapon from Rest. Oh, maybe it's an Atma weapon from Rest. I remember there is a Ragnarok from Girl, but
I think it's a Ragnarok from Girl, an Atma weapon from Rest, and I think you can also steal an Excalibur from Goddess. Yeah, like if you do steal on these final bosses, you can actually steal quite a bit, like very, very good gear. Not that you really have a chance to equip it very well, but the option is there.
yes, and if you need, and if you need some cure, you can steal elixir from the 7 first parts in tier 1 and tier 2. And if you are really lucky, you can steal a mega elixir from Kefka tier 4.
All right. It looks like Jack has done his counting. I think he's waiting for Kefka to start charging up Goner again. Because once Kefka is charging Goner, he is unable to counterattack during that moment. So if you know you're at Kefka under 10,000 HP and he has the chance to counter with Ultimas and Hyperdrivers and Havoc Wings, just waiting until he decides to start charging up Goner and then pump in as much damage as you can.
Yes, and Jack knows that until he charges Goner, he's only gonna do Havoc Wings normally, so it can kill your party, but only one character at a time. So you have time to get him up and wait for the Goner.
All right, and is that it?
Not yet. It's it. That's it.
There we go. Taking him out with a Bolt Edge, going for a little bit of a swag strat there. Not very many times you see him taken out with a Bolt Edge. So that is Jackimus Wedge finishing in first place with a time of 1:38:03. That is a phenomenal time, Jack. Well done.
Yeah, well done.
He will join us apparently in a moment after showing us, I believe, a little clip from Doom. Not 100% sure what that was.
I guess there will be a chainsaw video.
But, pretty hot on the heels of Jack. We've got both Mr. Entity and Fraggle making their way through Kefka's Tower. Mr. Entity skipped the dragons, and it looks like Fraggle is taking them on. So Entity is going to be able to gain a little bit of time here, but he's losing out on that extra XP and power. So we'll see what ends up working out best for them.
Yes. And they still don't know they can find. they will find the spicy chicken in 2 or 3 minutes for Mr. Entity and 5 or 6 for Mr. Fraggle. But I guess they have many ice magic, so maybe that won't hurt them.
Yeah. And we are now joined by our first place, both in the race overall and on stream, Jackamus Wedge. GG, Jack, well done.
That was cool.
You were well on track for a sub 130 until that poltergeist happened. What was your thought process on how you're going to make your way through that spicy chicken spot?
I honestly don't think, even if I got through first try, that I would have made the sub 90, 130, whatever you want to call it there. But the thing is, hey, Curse Shield won. I had a Paladin Shield in reserve, so it was just a matter of shuffling equipment around and not getting blasted, and there you go, basically.
Nice. I think this seed was pretty generous to you runners. Would you agree with that assessment?
Sort of. There were some good things for sure. I mean, I can't comment on where anyone else went and did early on. Like, the first Ragnarok I found I straight up bought whenever I went to Kalingen and found it in the store, but then I got another from a dragon. It's like, okay, cool. I have 2 awesome physical people. And then, I found a Pearl Lance, so it's like, well, I mean, I want Dragoon Boots. I never found the Dragon Horn, which is a little disappointing, but, I know my way around that final battle there, so, I did a sneaky thing like, I'm going to open with a, level 17 character, because she has Cleave and can do, basically 80,000 damage worth of one-hit kills. I don't know, I thought that was pretty clever on my behalf, just gonna say.
I did notice that you were bringing in a very low-level character there.
It's only 84 HP when you revive her.
Yeah, but, she just had to not get hit again. I mean, what are the chances of that, right? 1 in 4?
I mean, you could have increased those chances if you equipped a True Knight on somebody. Go all in on this strat.
Coulda, shoulda, woulda, but didn't even think about that. Don't even think I had a True Knight in inventory. I will say I was a little concerned at the end of Tier 3 after I, was counting damage, threw my Phantom up, got my Morphed Ragnarok swinging, and it's like, the boss is still alive. It must have 12 HP or something retarded like that. Sorry if I offended people with that word, but, it's just the boss was hanging on by a thread, and I'm like, oh god, is it going to be Meteo? It wasn't. I'm like, all right, sure, perfect, okay, throw whatever, it's dead no matter what, let's go.
Awesome. Well, once again...
And I mean, obviously on Final Keck, I played it a little slow. I mean, I was using, outside of Shadow, who went up the 4-boss path there. I was using a lot of low-level 30 characters. I had enough HP to survive Goner, but after that point, it was like, no, I'm just gonna take my time, wait till my opening's there, because I don't want to trigger an ultimate counterattack and be down to just Shadow. That would be really bad. But I mean, just in case I got greedy like that, I did. Shadow is my character who was riding that HP 100 Esper, so I gave him the muscle belt, and you saw even at a level under 40 he had over 5,000 HP, so very, very useful outside of instant death kind of things.
Absolutely. Definitely had quite a bit of power behind him. Between an early Paladin shield, the Ragnaroks for sale, and HP plus 100 Esper, not to mention the other good spells that were found on Espers pretty early. I feel like this seed gave you the tools that you needed.
The mute spell obviously is great in the final battle. Ice 3 early would have been nice if I found ice bosses other than Rexel, where it's like, well, I'm better off just throwing and using my physicals rather than casting, because his magic defense is nuts.
Yeah.
But those Ice 3s in the 11th hour against the Tiger portion of Tier 2 definitely came in handy.
Absolutely. Let's see, K-Toysic, any other questions for Jack before we let him go on his way and we bring our attention back to our racers as they are entering their final Kefka battles?
No other question. We were thinking about Realm, but he get to the point by himself, so it was nice. And we just see 1 minute later 2 other runners finished. So
Yeah.
we know we know
Zelfer and Boo just a little bit behind me there. We'll call that revenge for week 1 of the KGP for people who watched that restream, since I was clearly cleaning everyone's clock until I had some unfortunate luck and lost 14 minutes on the final battle. Yes. But yeah, if you guys are done with me, I mean, I'm not going to be starting this right away because I know we still got a race going on. I was thinking like 9:30ish Eastern. I'm doing like some classic Mega Man fun times, giving my thoughts on all the games. I'll be playing Mega Man 4 at about 9:30 about 9:30 Eastern tonight. So, you know, if you think that's fun after the race is done, head on over to my stream and hang out with me, because I like talking to people while I play. And, you know, as fun as these restreams are, I can't really do that while I'm being restreamed. So, you know, social activity and all that. And if you're not sold on that, that's okay. I mean, there's probably like at least 10,000 people doing stuff on Twitch that are more entertaining than me. But just remember, let's go Bruins!
Thanks.
I was waiting for that. Thank you, Jack.
And as Jack talking, we just give you the runner Twitch, so don't forget to follow these runners. They entertain us. So Mr. Entity, Jack Muswedge, we will be playing Mega Man 4, Fraggle 497, and Jax Rocks. And also don't forget to follow and give thumbs ups to Asheron and Ceiling Cat for the restreaming and the tracking. Thanks, Ceiling Cat. And we understand you can't have your eyes on the 4 screen at the same time. Even us, we are 2 and we can't see everything. And thanks, Ravelin, for co-commentating with me.
Again, thank you for keeping me on track here. Because I definitely need the help.
I get a little bit out with Jack interview, but we see Jaxbox went to 80 and Mr. Entity is fighting with Tier 1 as Fraggle, I guess. Let's go to the final statue.
Yep, he's making sure that he has, he gets his team all healed up. Interestingly enough, he's taking advantage of what is technically a glitch, the save point glitch. One of those things where if you're in a multi-party battle and one of your parties steps on a save point and you switch parties, if you don't move with that second party, they are still considered on a save point, and you can use tents and sleeping bags and heal them up. A very, very minor little glitch that frankly is just beneficial. So I'm totally fine with it. I take advantage of it quite often myself in Kefka's Tower.
I always get advantage of this because it's the best glitch ever in Kefka Tower. And we see Fraggle doing the fight against the spicy chicken, but he gets some Super Ball to throw him.
It looks like that Super Ball was a little bit nicer to Fraggle than the Super Balls were to Jack earlier.
Yeah. And he's throwing a new Super Bowl away, so... Oh, and it's gonna be a good one, yeah.
Very nice. Mr. Entity is casting X Zone on Tier 2. That is one of those spells that is able to immediately insta-kill tools, which is incredibly valuable.
Yes, and he succeeds, so it's better for him, and he's doing some normal tactics to ice the tiger and using shock to get rid of the three of them at the same, not at the same time, but get some HP down.
Absolutely. So Fraggle makes his way through that spicy chicken. Doesn't give him too much of an issue, but he did have an extra character compared to Jack. So sometimes even a low-level character, just having that extra little bit of buffer space can really, really help in fights like that.
Yes, and there, that was the point. Edgar just get the stop, so Fraggle can focus on Zetzer to attack Poltergeist, our spicy chicken.
10 hits coming up for Mr. Entity. That is something that more than once I have been pretty well wrecked by, if I'm honest. 10 hits, if you don't have good defensive gear on, can really make for a bad time for you.
Yes, especially if you're using too many shocks and kill it and magic at the same time. You can have a quarter and then 10 hits, so it can be bad for your team. And the quarter gets 3 on 4 character of Mr. Entity.
Ooh. It's rough. So Fraggle is now joining the Kefka fight as well, and Jex is not that far behind, going through the Tritok spot as well. So all of our runners are very, very quickly coming up on the end of this seed.
Yes, and they all doing well for these last fights, and Jexworth just killed Tritok with all his fire magic, and I didn't see if Fraggle use Flare or if it was the Ragnarok to get rid of the long arm.
Yep, definitely on that tier 1, you want to make sure that you get rid of the long arm first, whether you use an instant death attack or you just burn it down first, because if it's the last one alive, it will counter with Quake, and Quake is a terrifying spell, and it will do a lot of damage. Fraggle's party right now would probably survive, but the fact that I'm saying probably survive and they're almost all over 4k HP says a lot about how scary Quake actually is.
Yes, Quake can be scary, but I guess it's the head that's using Quake. I don't want to say something stupid. The head is doing Quake if it's the last, and the long arm is doing Shockwave, but sometimes 3, sometimes 2, sometimes 1.
You are right. I'm just so used to using instant death on the long arm first and then taking care of the face that I got confused which one does which counterattack.
We all do this. We all do this, so I won't blame you for this. Oh, when Mr. Entity gets Meteos, but missed all the 4 characters and is doing with calmness. I guess he used the Golem.
Yep. One of the nice things about Meteo, I have something nice to say about Meteo. What's going on?
Hey.
Is the fact that it is not 100% hit rate. It has a natural chance to miss, which is the only good thing I have to say about Meteo.
Yes, but I think my character are always not natural because they always get Meteor in the face. It's probably the luck we're talking about.
Mm-hmm. Looks like Jex actually found Grand Train somewhere along the way, which is a powerful enough spell that it is making Gogo, even though he hasn't invested a lot into Gogo, a useful member of the party. Grand Train is just that strong of a spell.
Yes, for the late spells, and you prefer to use Blowfish for the first spells when the bosses and your character are low leveled. It's 1000 HP. The damage is assured, so you can get rid of many bosses at the beginning.
Yeah, that static 1,000 damage. It doesn't keep its usefulness for very long, but it can be one of those really clutch things to get you through the beginning of a seed.
Yes. And it's always something nice to see in your lore party. As nice as to see Stray Cat on the Rage party.
Ooh. Strat Cat is one of my favorite strategies in this game. So another thing, in addition to, ow, sorry, my cat just decided to climb my leg in a very painful way.
It's a Stray Cat. It's
Yes.
cat scratch attack.
Yeah, exactly. In addition to being able to take different routes, there are so many different viable strategies for getting through bosses or for your offense. You know, you have everything from stray cat offering strats to, magic to, grand train with lore to just swinging swords, etc., etc. So there are lots of options available to you, and a GG to Mr. Entity for a second place on stream finish with 154.34.
Yes, and as we told earlier, Mr. Jack is really fast, so having 16 minutes more than Mr. Jack is sounds like a victory.
You know what? I would be absolutely happy with my time if I were to get a 154 on this seed.
Yeah, me too.
And we are joined by a Mr. Entity. Well done with your second place on stream finish. I believe fourth place overall.
That is correct. Thank you.
GG, what'd you think of the seed?
My favorite part was definitely the coverts on the Leet River for nothing. Well, I did get my Ragnarok money out of it, which was the main reason I went with a forced encounters check, so I wasn't that mad. Well, yeah, open world is quite different. We don't do them very often, and the meta at the start is real weird.
So, what do you think about tell us a little bit more about that.
Oh, well, especially with parity average level, I think it was. Basically, that just means take the first 30 minutes and do everything that's free. And then after that, you can start fighting bosses. And I guess the tiered chests didn't play too well into that, because you do a lot of looting at the start in open world. And there wasn't a lot of great stuff in the chests.
But but there were Ragnaroks for sale and an effectively free Paladin shield.
Yeah, that Paladin shield was ridiculous, although it did cost me 2 resets.
I did notice that.
Yeah, I just wanted to have it by the time I got to a boss, because I went, oh, I'll learn Ultima. No Ultima. There's no Ultima.
Yeah, no, there's not. Not in this seed.
I pay attention.
So, for all of those people, those Moogles and Chocobos out there who want to start racing with us, be sure to read the seeds or read the flags before you race a seed to know what is and is not available in a given seed.
Oh, it's slightly worse than that. I have it written down on a piece of paper in front of me.
I can't help you.
No one can.
I just can't help you at this point.
Well, I guess the only other thing I have to say is that it certainly went better than my little practice seed earlier today, which was a Gao that had no offense, and then all of the characters were locked behind bosses.
Were rods available in this seed?
No! Uh,
But there were super balls, so if you found super
Shields
balls,
and Super Balls were available, but not in that seed.
I guess
So,
that
yeah.
would have been a technically incompletable seed then?
Yeah, it's the first one I've ever run into.
Huh. For those who aren't necessarily aware, Gao in random unique abilities gets a shot at 2 abilities, one for Rage and one for Leap. It is entirely possible to not be able to have any offense. Do you happen to remember what abilities you had?
Apparently not. I think it was health and something. I don't remember the second one.
But if it was
And
something-
steel, maybe.
Yeah.
Could have been. Sounds about right.
It is entirely possible to have a Gao who is unable to do any damage.
Yeah.
Also, my personal favorite meme from some of the races has
Oh,
been
double
double
slot.
slot. Double slot Gao.
He is the gambliest.
Yo, dog, I heard you like slots, so I gave you slots with your slots so you can slot while you slot.
That just sounds dirty.
I apologize for nothing. But any other thoughts here, Mr. Entity, before we turn our attention back to Fraggle, who's on tier 3, and Jex, who is on tier 1?
Not really. Just thanks to the Restream team and all the racers, and as usual, especially to Atma. And Boujak.
Seconded on all of that.
And also, let's not go Bruins.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Entity, once again, and GG, well played.
All right, have a good one.
You too. All right, now we're at Fraggle, who just threw a rod for like 7,000 damage to Girl. So I think he is well on his way to making the making tier 3 a thing of the past.
Yes, just waiting for the meteors. And I just come back from what Mr. Entity said. He did the Letter River for nothing, but maybe that gives him the XP he didn't need on Cast Tower, and then he can get through the dragons without fighting them.
That's true, and he also mentioned, and it gave him the money for the last couple of Ragnarok swords that he wanted. So, you know, it wasn't useless. It just wasn't as useful as he had hoped it would be.
Yes. The most useless death checks is when you fight someone who doesn't give you XP, like Ultraso Mr. Chupon. So there, you got the right for nothing.
Yeah, that would be the most unfortunate.
Yeah. Do we see? FK using train for free.
Train is one of those abilities that is sneakily, I think, the most dangerous thing that Kefka's, or that the final boss can throw at you. Because if you are both blinded and muted, if you don't have some sort of mitigation for that, suddenly all of your offense is done.
Yes, and you can find yourself like Go from Mr. Entity first race. Useless.
Now,
So we
in this
see
particular
Fraggle-
case, oh yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Oh. I was just gonna say, in this particular case, like, you always have Shock to fall back on with Setzer, you know, if things are going poorly. So you will be able to do some damage, but at this point, Shock has sort of fallen off, and it's not something you want to rely on.
Yes, and Fraggle gets rid of tier 3, and he was lucky because the countdown on Shadow was at 0-0 just at the right time.
And Fraggle is now fighting the Mad Clown himself. his damage output is very, very high. So I do not predict this Kefka is long for the world.
And we see Jaxprox dealing with tier 2 and using Siren to mute magic. So the fight is a little bit easier right now. And using, I don't remember if it's raid, I guess it's raided, to kill turrets.
Absolutely. And when we're seeing, Skeins being thrown again. God, I don't see Skeins being thrown against Final Kefka very often. But I suppose with both that blind and silence on, it might be one of the better options we have to pump out some damage here.
Yes, and maybe he has still one Super Bowl that he can throw if in case of emergency.
Yeah, that is one really good thing about fighting Magimaster is that you do get a Mega Elixir, which is very, very useful to use immediately after Fall of One.
Yes, and the Berserk Cyan, I guess, to have more powerful attack, but it's dangerous to do this because we never know if Kefka can counter-attack with Ultimas or Hyperdrive like this.
Ooh, wow. Not often you see someone surviving a hyperdriver like that.
But Strago is an old guy. He saw lots of things in his life, and an Hyperdrive won't hurt him.
He's seen it all before.
Yes! Flame be gone. Oh, and the golem. No, I'm not sure Strago will stay alive.
Possibly not. This might be a. Yep, that's a. He's just sleeping. It's fine. He'll be fine, I'm sure.
Yes. Kefka is using the less damageable counter-attack with Revenger.
So
People won't agree with me because it can get rid of the life free.
yeah, and there we go. That appears to be
GG.
Kefka down for Fraggle. GG. Well played. Let's see, an official time of 2:06:50. Let's see if he wants to join us.
And we see on this stream. I don't know what it is. It's Terra.
It's Terra. I think has something to do with a rhythm game that they made based on Final Fantasy.
Oh, nice.
So anyway, Fraggle will join us in a moment. While that happens, we can go down to Jexfrock, making his way through Tier 2, making good use of that shock to spread some damage around on Tier 2. There are lots of targets. And showing that even basic shurikens can still do 3,000 to 4,000 damage here on Final Kefka. That does show you the power of Throw. Throw is a very powerful ability when it comes down to it.
Yes, and you always need shurikens, so they are cheap, and I know Geminator does this a lot. When you find shuriken, you buy 20 of them, even if you don't have a character with throw, because we never know when you find one, and it can be useful.
Yeah, absolutely. It's non-elemental damage. It pierces defense. Throw is, a shuriken actually has a pretty decent base power as well. They're very, very cheap. So it's almost always worth just grabbing a couple of, 20, 25 of them and just, if they work out, great. And if not, you've spent maybe 2,000 gold.
Yes, and I hope Xbox will have luck with Celeste because oh no, it's okay. Girl is dead because he were attacking Girl with the Illuminus, and if there is a proc, girl get a free.
All right, and we are joined by Fraggle. GG, well played, Fraggle. A time of 2:06:50, quite respectable on a seed like this. So well played.
Thanks, especially given how I forgot it was 7:13.
Oh,
I tried to enter Kefka's tower at 7:10, thinking it was just normal flags.
ah, that is something that frankly I missed because everyone was going so all over the place, everywhere.
Yeah, I hit 7:10, tried to enter Kefka's tower around like 1:15, and it was like, you need more espers. I was like, oh crap. Where can I look now? I've done all the quick checks.
Right.
But yeah, other than that, it was an okay seed. All things going.
What do you think of an open world seed like this as compared to a gated seed?
I don't like the open world seeds that much. I think for open world, it's more kick back, relax compared to like. I think it makes the stakes feel a lot higher in a race.
Okay. Interesting.
I'd
I hadn't thought of
rather,
it that way.
yeah, because when you think about it, you've got every single check in the game, and you're thinking, okay, I'll do this one. If you put this, say you put like there was a character on the throne, but you didn't do the throne till you've been to like 4 or 5 other checks, you're like, crap, I'm behind now. They've already got these characters.
Mhm.
Whereas with the gated ones, it just seems to flow a bit better in the race elements. But that's just my take on it.
Interesting. Thank you.
No worry.
I find open world seeds to be almost overwhelming with I have so many choices of what I can do. Where at least with a gated seed, I know I can only do one of these 3 or 4 things.
Yeah, basically it's like there's a few different ways you can finish a gated seed unless it's on rails, like we sometimes end up having, but with an open one, it's just, I think it suits more specialist things, like when we've done bingos and things like that. The open world suits them, I feel, more than like your KGP format or the weeklies or even seeds of the week.
Absolutely. I agree with that assessment. But sometimes it's fun to just do something different occasionally. So,
Yeah.
we're throwing it out there.
Yeah, like I say, it's every now and then a bit of variety helps keep it fresh. Oh,
All right. Any
Yes, and
go ahead.
yes, don't forget Fraggle. The week 3 of the KGP will be an open world too. So you had better have to be prepared.
yeah, I might just run that completely blind with no practice so I can get out of doing it, like, all dwelling on it.
And as Ceiling Cat just noticed on the chat, you don't know how many Esper you need, but we don't know how many Espers you need because we lost tracks of your stream for 10 minutes also.
Yeah, I honestly don't know what happened with that. It must have just been a quick hiccup, because when I got told your streams went down, it was still saying I was online and streaming. But internet's weird.
It happens. Well, GG Fraggle, once again, well played. Thank you for giving us a great show. And with that, we are also bringing in Jexfrock at GG Well Played at 2 hours, 13 minutes, 20 seconds. A very respectable time for a seed like this.
Yes, thank
Well
you.
played.
Actually, I think
GG.
this is a new personal best for me.
Well done. Congratulations.
Yeah, I just have to go and check the backlogs, but I think sooner or later I'll get sub 2.
You know what? Keep playing. Keep going at it. You will get better and better as time goes on, and sub 2 will happen. I promise.
Of course.
So,
Did anybody ever find a dragon horn?
not to my knowledge.
Okay, so I don't feel so bad.
What'd you think of the seed overall, though?
Pretty good. There was because it was an open world. There was a couple of times like, okay, where do I go now? Because I was, just trying to keep it to nice, quick checks, over and over and over again. But I did a couple of longer ones, like Magitech Factory, because that was a few extra checks, plus a character. That was Shadow. That was over there, if I remember correctly.
One thing I would suggest, and I suggest this to all sorts of newer runners, if you're restreamed in a race like this and you want to know what other people did to go faster, go back and watch the restream and just see the different choices that people made and how people got through different situations.
I usually make a point to check out the restream, just to see how things went for other people, because there's so many different strategies you can do on any given seed.
Absolutely. And that is, and I've said this before on this restream, one of my favorite parts of this randomizer is that there are so many viable options.
Definitely.
All right. Once again, GG, well played, and thank you again for putting on a very good and entertaining show for all of us here on the restream. I'm Ravlin. I was joined by Kate Toyzik on commentary. Asherin and Ceiling Cat were our restreamer and tracker. And one final shout out to Atmatech, our developer. Thank you so much. And we are now going to head off and host the Free Enterprise channel, who's doing their own community race right now. So stick around for some more randomizer goodness.
Thanks.
Boo Jack.